Hello friends, and welcome to another edition of Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan. Let's get to a recap of what happened this past week in Bronco sports. Hockey picked up a sweep at Lawson Ice Arena this past weekend, earning a 3-0 win against Canisius on Friday night and taking a 2-1 win from the Golden Griffins on Saturday. Mike Cici had a goal and an assist on Friday, while Frank Slabowski made 21 saves in the 3-0 shutout, and Trevor Elias scored a goal late in the third period on Saturday to give the Broncos the win against the Golden Griffins. Dan DeKaiser added a goal and an assist on Saturday as well. Well, football drew a tough road assignment last weekend, falling 41-24 to Kent State on Saturday. Antoine Scriven scored a pair of touchdowns on 1-yard runs, and Josh Schaefer had 151 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. The Broncos will return to Kalamazoo this week for a game against Northern Illinois. Men's tennis competed at the ITA Midwest Regional at Michigan State, and the doubles pairing of Ross Vanderploeg and Nadine Indre made history. Indre and Vanderploeg advanced to the semifinals of the main doubles draw, beating teams from Cleveland State, Illinois, DePaul, and Michigan. The finish is one of the best, if not the best, by a WMU doubles team at the event in quite some time. Congratulations to Ross and Nadine. The women's tennis team competed at the ITA Second Chance Regional in what turned out to be a great weekend for them as well. Kathleen Hawkins won the Bravo Flight Singles after a perfect 3-0 weekend in singles, recording a 6-0, 6-1 win over Michigan State's Jennifer Yen on Sunday. Maggie Raminzi made it to the finals of her singles flight, picking up a pair of wins as well, and Caroline Alec took third in the Charlie Flight Singles with a 6-0, 6-0 win over Milwaukee's Brittany Skemp. Alec and Hawkins also reached the finals of their doubles draw. Men's soccer honored their seniors on Sunday before the home match against Hartwick, and it was a senior who notched the game-winning goal. The Broncos defeated the Hawks 2-1. Sophomore Jason Grant tied the match with a goal in the 65th minute, and senior Shane Lyons scored his 8th goal in his last 9 games, giving the Broncos the lead for the first time in the game. I would just like to point out that we had Shane Lyons on Bronco Sports Weekly last week. He scores the game-winning goal against Hartwick. Go figure. Volleyball moved into sole position of first place in the MAC West Division this past weekend, earning a road victory against the Kent State Golden Flashes on Friday. Allie Gosen recorded her second double-double in 3 matches with 11 kills and 10 digs, and Lena Oliver had a team-high 24 digs against the Golden Flashes. The Broncos will face Central and Eastern Michigan this weekend at University Arena. Women's soccer competed in a pair of matches last week, including a draw against Akron in a double overtime match. Deanna Dedvakai scored the lone goal for the Broncos in the match. And women's golf wrapped their fall season last week at the Preview, played at the Longaberger Golf Club in Nashport, Ohio. Kaylee Immel was tied for 5th overall in the field with a 2-round score of 154, including a team low round of 74 on the second day of competition. And now let's take a look at some of the highlights from this past week. Bronco men's soccer taking on Detroit on Tuesday. Jason Grant going to get tripped going to the net, and that's going to mean Shane Lyons going to look for the PK. He's been the hottest goal scorer on the Broncos lately, and he's going to bury this one in the corner. The Broncos would fall, however, by a score of 2-1 to Detroit. Hockey now, and they're taking on the Canisius Golden Griffins. In the first period, Josh Pitt on the breakaway. He's going to tuck that one on the far side to give the Broncos the 1-0 lead. The Broncos would keep up the offensive attack, however. Mike Cici would pick up a goal in the third period. He's in front of the net. He'll cram it in. The Broncos would shut out the Golden Griffins 3-0 on Friday. Frank Slabowski with 21 saves. Broncos looking to keep the pressure up on the Golden Griffins. They played again on Saturday night. The Broncos would trail at one point in the game, but Trevor Elias on the breakaway, loose puck, getting hooked. He's going to score. The Broncos would defeat Canisius by a score of 2-1 to cap a perfect 2-0 weekend. Bronco men's soccer, it's senior day on Sunday, taking on Hartwick, and Jason Grant going to deflect one on the corner kick. It went off a defender into the back corner. The Broncos would even the score against Hartwick 1-1. That goal coming in the 65th minute of play. They would not be finished, however. Hey, remember that guy Shane Lyons? Remember how he loves scoring on penalty kicks? Drills this one, this time going to the right of the goalkeeper. The Broncos would defeat Hartwick 2-1 on senior day. And our fall sports weren't the only ones in action this past weekend, as the Bronco men's basketball team hosted what has become one of the favorite traditions of the program, Breakfast with the Broncos. About 300 fans drove into University Arena on Saturday morning to see the Bronco men's basketball team for the first time in the 2012-13 season. They were treated to a catered breakfast, an array of drills, 3 scrimmages with the Bronco players, an autograph session at the end, and some words from Coach Hawk.
Overall, it was a great day, got a lot done, the effort was good, team chemistry on display again. It was a really, really good morning and a great turnout from the fans.
All right, folks, welcome back. I am now joined by the head cross country and track and field coach here at Western Michigan, Kelly Lycan, and the women's cross country team will be taking part in the 2012 MAC Championships coming up this weekend. So, Coach, you have a little bit of experience here with the course at Buffalo, who is hosting the championship. You said the last time you were there, the conditions weren't too favorable.
That's correct. It was the muddiest conditions that I've ever seen in my life. They had a huge snowstorm the week before the meet, and then it warmed up and all that melted and soaked into the course. And then 2 days before the race, they had a huge rainstorm. So there was actually a large lake just in front of the starting line, and the guys ran first, and the men, being men, decided to make their own course, and they just bypassed all that mud and rain. But it was quite interesting, to say the least. So we should not have a repeat of that this year.
Well, other than that, what are your impressions of this course here at Buffalo?
It's a tough course. It's in a park right next to the lake, so it's kind of uneven footing. It's not the smooth, manicured surface that you might have on a golf course, but it'll be a fair course.
All right, now, going into a championship race, it's always interesting when you have a sport where the entire season hinges on one day of competition, really 20 to 25 minutes of competition. What are some of the things as a coaching staff you build upon over the course of the year when getting the team ready for this kind of race?
Yeah, I think track and field and cross country coaches probably should share strategies with horse racing trainers sometimes, because those thoroughbred trainers have to get their horses ready for that big race too, like the Kentucky Derby or whatever it is, and so they try to build up to that big event. And you're right, we don't have really a regular season. We don't have a one-loss record, so it all comes down to that one weekend where you have to put up or shut up, and everybody all goes at the same time. And you hope that, to stay with the horse analogy, you hope that all your horses are ready to run on that same weekend. A lot of times cross country is like a carousel. Some horses are up, some horses are down, and you hope that you can get them all running well on that same weekend, which is really tough because it's really a team sport. You have to have all 5, and really the top 7 are very important, because those 6th and 7th runners can help push other runners down in the standings. So but each week is kind of a stepping stone. We usually don't look like $1 million when we first start racing in September, because the workload is very high. We're hitting them with a lot of volume and things, and then as the season goes on, the volume decreases but the intensity increases. We work more on speed, but at the beginning it's all strength, and sometimes we don't look all that speedy at the beginning of the race, but you sort of have to build the base. If you think about trying to build a pyramid, if you don't build a good strong base and you try to peak real high at the top, your pyramid's going to crumble somewhere along the way. So early in the season it's all base work, and then you try to narrow it down and peak for the big meets at the end of the year.
In a high stakes race like that, how important is mental toughness?
In our sport, it's everything. I think cross country, swimming, and wrestling are 3 of the toughest sports, where you're pushing yourself basically. I mean, obviously you're racing other people, but there are so many places in a 6K race where you can give up, and it's really tough to not do that. It's not a comfortable feeling. It's not like just going out for a jog, and you get tired, you can stop and walk. It's a extended time of pain that those people have to endure, and I have the utmost admiration for those guys to be able to just push themselves throughout the uphills, through the mud, bad weather, whatever. It's a tough event.
You mentioned earlier the carousel that comes as part of coaching cross country, where there's a real element of surprise. You might have a team that had a number of runners with great times all year all of a sudden be up and down. At the same time, there's the possibility that the team's been up and down all year. Everybody, lightning might strike 5 times, 6 times, and you might get some PRs. Who are you looking for to perform maybe above expectations this weekend?
Well, we've actually had a lot of PRs throughout the entire year so far, but you're right, you never know. It's a lot like a basketball team sometimes too. In the top 5, maybe you're starting your high scorer may be having an off day and some kid comes off the bench and just is on fire, so you hope that something like that happens in cross country too. But we've actually had 2 local runners who have been doing a great job for us. Aisha Hodge, who's from Bangor, she had a great year last year in track and field, almost won the MAC championships in the 800 meters. She came up about 3 inches short of it. She's been our #1 runner all season long, and she's been having the best cross country season of her life so far, and she's certainly been the leader. Also, a girl from Bloomingdale, Teresa Marin, who's been having a career year also. Those guys have been real consistent for us. And a young lady, just a sophomore, Becca Peacock, who really was not on the radar screen at all last year, and just she's been our #2 and #3 runner back and forth throughout the season. She's been doing really well, and certainly there are 3 seniors that, this is going to be their last MAC cross-country meet. Jerisha Tucker, Kara Cremines, and Rachel Whitley. Those 3 seniors, we're going to need those guys to be running well in order to finish where we want to.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, thanks very much for stopping by, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, folks, let's take a look at what we're watching for this weekend. Well, volleyball will return to Kalamazoo to host a pair of in-state rivals when they take on the Central Michigan Chippewas and the Eastern Michigan Eagles on Friday and Saturday, respectively, in University Arena. The Broncos sit alone atop the standings in the MAC West Division, and Friday's match against the Chippewas will go a long way in maintaining that lead. First serve scheduled for 7 p.m. on both nights. Of course, you can catch those on Bronco Insider. Football will return to Waldo Stadium after a 2-week absence when they host the Northern Illinois Huskies. The Broncos will look to snap a 2-game losing streak, and here's hoping the home cooking will do the trick. Kickoff scheduled for noon on Saturday. The game will be carried as an ESPN regional broadcast. Men's soccer will be on the road with a single match this week when they take on Buffalo on Friday. The Broncos reached the 10-win mark for the second time in 4 seasons with their win over Hartwick on Sunday, and with a 2-1-1 record in conference play this weekend could be the chance the Broncos need to make a big move in the conference standings. Women's soccer will wrap up its regular season on Thursday when they go to Ypsilanti to face cross-state rival Eastern Michigan in a 3 p.m. clash. And we have the MAC tournament coming up next week, so go get them, ladies. And men's tennis will head to Northwestern to take part in the 2012 Wildcat Invite. But the #1 thing we're watching for this weekend will be the cross-country team. They will be in action at the 2012 Mid-American Conference Championships hosted this year at Buffalo. Aisha Hodge posted new personal bests in each of her last 2 races, and she'll look to lead the Broncos against the rest of the field on Saturday. Of course, you can check back here at WMUBroncos.com for the results of the race on Saturday. And that's going to do it for us here on Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan saying join us again next week. Same Bronco time, same Bronco place.